Praise Yah, brothers and sisters. Praise the Most High, the Almighty One, the Mighty One of all mighty ones. For He is the high, sovereign, everlasting, ever powerful, ever knowledgeable, ever compassionate, loving, Yahuah, the one who is worthy to be esteemed and honored. All power is His, all might is His. He is and always will be. Today, I want to talk about deception and give us something to confer with the Father, counsel with Him, and get understanding, because I should say insight on what this means and if it means anything, and most of all to train us to have an eye to see and an ear to hear and a will to follow Him. If you haven't already heard the two audios, Deception Already Is and Guard Against Deception, and there may be a few other ones on deception on this platform, I really hope you will. And this is going along that line, the same as that. He said for us not to be deceived or led astray from the straight and narrow way, the way of truth and righteousness. So what I want to share with you might be controversial, but it's not meant to be controversial, because I am not going to be guilty of leading anyone astray. I am just bringing some thoughts to you, which I often do, for you to seek Him. He said if we seek Him, we will find Him. He'll let Himself be found. He will reveal to us. He'll let us know His secrets and the answers to situations and to all of our questions. Tahallym 20 says He fulfills all our petitions. So when we request something of Him, He is faithful. He is trustworthy, I should say, and He will come through for us. So, like I said, it's not meant to be controversial. Probably will be controversial, but take it in the spirit and in the ruah and in the heart that I'm presenting this. Because I am concerned, very, very, very concerned. Exodus 20, verses 2 through 6 reads, I am Yahuah your Yahuah, which have brought you out of the land of Egypt, Mizraim, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other mighty ones before me. You shall not make unto you any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the Shamayim above, or that is in the Arets beneath, or that is in the Mayim under the Arets. You shall not bow down yourself to them nor serve them, for I, Yahuah your Yahuah, am a jealous, mighty one, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing compassion to thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. He said, you shall not make unto you any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the Shamayim above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the Mayim under the earth. So He has covered all dimensions, right? So now when we read Numbers 21, 1 through 9, this is the first question that I have in regards to us not being deceived and just wanting to always know Him. In fact, I'm thinking about titling this audio No. K-N-O-W. So Numbers 21, verse 1 through 9, and when King Arad the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south, heard tell that Yashrael came by the way of the spies, then he fought against Yashrael and took some of them prisoners. And Yashrael vowed a vow unto Yahuah and said, if you will indeed deliver this people into our hand, then my hand, then I will utterly destroy their cities. And Yahuah listened to the voice of Yashrael and delivered up the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name of that place Hormah. And they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to compass the land of Edom. And the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way. And the people spoke against Yahuah and against Musa. Wherefore have you brought us out of Mizraim to die in the wilderness? Have you brought us out of Mizraim to die in the wilderness? For there is no bread, neither is any water, and our soul loathes this light bread. And Yahuah sent, or did he remove his protection? There's an audio on that too, about the serpents. That situation that happened. So Yahuah sent, and then I ask you, or did he remove his protection of the fiery serpents among the people? And they bit the people, and much people of Yisrael died. Therefore the people of Musa came to Musa and said, we have sinned, for we have spoken against Yahuah and against you. Request unto Yahuah that he take away the serpents from us. And Musa prayed for the people. And Yahuah said unto Musa and Moses, make you a fiery serpent, set it upon a pole, and it shall come to pass that everyone that is bitten, when he look upon it, shall live. And Musa, or Moses, made a serpent of brass and put it on a pole, and it came to pass that if a serpent had bitten any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. Okay, so my question is this. Because now, like I said, I have, I think, 2 videos, 2 audios that is referencing this event, this incident that happened. I don't think I will anymore, because until I get insight and know for sure what is truth. But so when it happened, and they realized what had come upon them, because like I said in one audio, we don't know if the serpents were always there, which probably they were, but they didn't touch the people because there was a boundary put up and the serpents could not cross that boundary, because we know creation obeys Yahuah. So we don't know if that's what happened, because I believe in my thinking, and I'm not saying I'm right, but in my thinking, in my relationship with him, I don't see him doing evil to us, but I see him removing his hand of protection, because evil is always around us, always around us. The enemy's always lurking, looking for an opportunity to destroy us. But he can't when there's a protection around us, the protection that is by the spoken word of the Most High. Do not touch my anointing, do my prophets no harm. And so when we sin and we leave from under that protection, Yahuah says, your free will, you walked out there, and so now here you go. And so I think that serpents were always there, and they were protected from them. But either way, they asked Moshe to meet with Yahuah and to request that he would take away the serpents from us. But then when Yahuah's response to Moshe was not, tell the people I will do it, I will speak a word against it, I will command the serpents to leave, and I will heal them, the ones who have been bitten. He didn't say that. Instead, it is written here that he told Moshe to make a fiery serpent and put it on a pole, and then for them, anyone who had been bitten, to look upon it and they will live. But he didn't. So then, if this is what happened, then he didn't answer the request. The request was that he would take away the serpents. And then he says, and Moshe made a serpent of brass and put it upon a pole, and it came to pass that if a serpent had been any man, when he beheld the serpent of brass, he lived. So Yahuah wants us looking at things for our deliverance. I don't know. This is why I have this question. This is why, and I'm only bringing this up because there's going to be a lot of signs and a lot of things happening in these last days that will lead people astray. And we don't want to be led astray. And we don't want to be referring back to this, or the enemy using this to refer back to us. Did not Yahuah, your Eloah, in the time of the wilderness have Moshe to make a graven image? No. I don't want that being used against me. This is why I'm asking y'all. I am not coming against his word and saying that this is a lie. I'm saying, y'all, please help me understand why this would be so when this does not line up with what you told us to do. You said don't make any graven images. James 1:13 says, let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of Eloah, for Eloah cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempts he any man. So what is going on here? Doesn't it sound like temptation to tell them to turn to trusting and looking to an object of a graven image for healing and deliverance? That's how I see it. Doesn't this sound like confusion? That's how I see it. Yet Father is not the author of confusion, and neither does he tempt any man to sin against him. This is truly something to inquire Abba about. Would he lead us to commit an abominable act as to look to another for deliverance? Is it a translation issue or a deliberate misleading? I do not know this characteristic of Abba to go against his everlasting word, nor to leave a request unanswered. They requested that he take away the serpents, yet there is no documentation of him doing so, except we do not read that they continue to plague them. So that's the only thing we have to go by. But he's always so specific when he does things, so I don't know. Psalms 146, verse 1-3. Praise Yahuah, O my soul. While I live, will I praise Yahuah. I will sing praises to my Lord while I have my being. Put not your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Man, in whom there is no help. His breath goes forth, he returns to his earth, and that very day his thoughts perish. Happy is he that hath the mighty one of Yahuah for his help, whose hope is in Yahuah, his Eloah. Yeshayahu, or Isaiah 31, 1-3. Woe to them that go down to Mizraim for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Kodesh one of Yisrael, neither seek Yahuah. Now the Mizraites are men, and not Eloah, and their horses flesh, and not spirit. When Yahuah shall stretch out his hand, doth he that helped, both he that helps shall fall, and he that is helped shall fall down, and they shall all fail together. Now I want to read you a little bit of the story of Bel and the dragon. I don't know if you know this, but it's one of the Apocryphas. And it would have been an extension of the book of Daniel, but for some reason they did what they felt they should do. But in this, it lets us know that Daniel was thrown to the lion's den twice. This is the second time he was thrown to the lion's den. When Cyrus became king, when he received his father's kingdom, Daniel was a companion, and he was most honored of his friends. Now the Babylonians had an idol called Bel, and every day they spent on it 12 bushels of fine flour, 40 sheep, and 50 gallons of wine. The king revered it and went every day to worship it, but Daniel worshipped his own mighty one. And the king said unto him, Why do you not worship Bel? And he answered, Because I do not revere man-made idols, but the living Eloah, who created Shamayim and Arets and has dominion over all flesh. The king said to him, Do you not think that Bel is a living God? Do you not see how much he eats and drinks every day? Then Daniel laughed and said, Do not be deceived, O king, for this is but clay inside and brass outside. And it never ate or drank anything. Then the king was angry, and he called his priests and said to them, If you do not tell me who is eating these provisions, you shall die. But if you prove that Bel is eating them, Daniel shall die, because he blasphemed against Bel. This is B-E-L, okay? And the priests of Bel said, Behold, we are going outside. You yourself, O king, shall set forth the food and mix and place the wine, and shut the door and seal it with your signet. And when you return in the morning, if you do not find that Bel has eaten it all, we will die, or else Daniel will, who is telling lies about us. They were unconcerned, for beneath the table they had made a hidden entrance through which they used to go in regularly and consume the provisions. And when they had gone out, the king sent forth the food for Bel. Then Daniel ordered his servants to bring ashes, and they shifted them throughout the whole temple in the presence of the king alone. Then they went out, shut the door, and sealed it with the king's signet, and departed. In the night the priests came with their wives and children, as they were accustomed to do, and they ate and drank everything. Early in the morning the king rose and came, and Daniel with them. And the king said, Are the seals unbroken, Daniel? He answered, They are unbroken, king. As soon as the doors were opened, the king looked at the table and shouted in a loud voice, You are great, O Bel, and with you there is no deceit, none at all. Then Daniel laughed and restrained the king from going in and said, Look at the floor. Notice whose footsteps these are. The king said, I see the footsteps of men and women and children. Then the king was enraged, and he seized the priests and their wives and children. They showed him the secret doors which they were accustomed to enter and devour what was on the table. Therefore the king put them to death and gave Bel over to Daniel, who destroyed it and its temple. Then, along with this, Daniel kills a dragon, the dragon. There was also a great dragon which the Babylonians revered, and the king said to Daniel, you cannot deny that this is a living God, so worship him. Daniel said, I will worship Yahuah my Eloah, for he is the living mighty one. But if you, O king, will give me permission, I will slay the dragon without sword or club. The king said, I give you permission. Then Daniel took pitch, fat, and hair and boiled them together and made cakes, which he fed to the dragon. The dragon ate them and burst open. And Daniel said, see what you have been worshiping? When the Babylonians heard it, they were very indignant and conspired against the king, saying, the king has become Abram. He has destroyed Bel and slain the dragon and slaughtered the priests. Going to the king, they said, hand Daniel over to us, or else we will kill you and your household. The king saw they were pressing him hard, and under compulsion he handed Daniel over to them. They threw Daniel into the lion's den, and he was there for 6 days. There were 7 lions in the den, and every day they had been given 2 human bodies and 2 sheep. But these were not given to them now, so that they might devour Daniel. Now the prophet Habakkuk, listen to this, was in Judea. He had boiled pottage and a broken bread in a bowl, and was going into the field to take it to the reapers. But the messenger of Yahuah said to Habakkuk, take the dinner which you have to Babylon, to Daniel in the lion's den. Habakkuk said, sir, I have never seen Babylon. I know nothing about the den. Then the messenger of Yahuah took him by the crown of his head and lifted him by his hair and set him down in Babylon, right over the den, with the rushing sound of the wind itself. Then Habakkuk shouted, Daniel, Daniel, take the dinner which Yahuah has sent you. And Daniel said, you have remembered me, O Eloah, and have not forsaken those who love you. So Daniel arose and ate, and the messenger of Eloah immediately returned Habakkuk to his place. On the 7th day, the king came to mourn for Daniel. And when he came to the den, he looked in, and there sat Daniel. And the king shouted with a loud voice, you are great, O Yahuah, mighty one of Daniel. There is no other besides you. And he pulled Daniel out and threw into the den the men who attempted his destruction, and they were devoured immediately before his eyes. Once again, he was not bowing down to any man-made mighty one. Tahallym 20, verses 1 through 2 and 5 through 7. Yahuah, hear thee in the day of trouble. The name of the mighty one of Yaakov defend you. Send you help from the sanctuary and strengthen you out of Zion. He will rejoice in your salvation in the name of your mighty one. Lord, we will set up our banners. Yahuah fulfill all your petitions. Now know I that Yahuah saves his anointed. He will hear him from his Kodesh Shamayim with the saving strength of his right hand. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of Yahuah our Eloah. We have the name of Yahuah. We don't trust in anything else but him. At least we're working to get to that place. Tahallym 1:15. Not unto us, Yahuah, not unto us, but unto your name, get honor and esteem for your kindness and for your truth's sake. Why should the heathen say, where is now their mighty one? But our Lord is in the Shamayim. He has done whatsoever he has pleased. Their idols are silver and gold, the works of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. They have ears, but they hear not. Noses have they, but they smell not. They have hands, but they handle not. Feet have they, but they walk not. Neither speak they through their throat. They that make them are like unto them. So is everyone that trusts in them. O Yashrael, trust in Yahuah. He is their help and their shield. O house of Aharon, trust in Yahuah. He is their help and their shield. You that fear Yahuah, trust in Yahuah. He is their help and their shield. Yahuah hath been mindful of us. He will barak us. He will barak the house of Yashrael. He will barak the house of Aharon. He will barak them that fear Yahuah, both small and great. Yahuah shall increase you more and more. You and your children. You are barak of Yahuah, which made Shamayim and Haaretz. Look at that. We don't trust in those things made with hands. They have mouths and can't speak, noses and can't smell, and so on and so on. Now let's go to a familiar story, Daniel 3, where Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael were given the opportunity to bow down to a false one, and they chose not to. And they were also reported to the king, and they said, I'm gonna find where they said, there are certain Abrams whom you have set over affairs of the province of Babylon. They're like, you've set them over province of our business, of our nation, and they're not even going to worship. Pretty much like they're not even going to worship the image that you've set up. And the image Nebuchadnezzar had made was of gold, whose height was 80 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. And he said in the plain, and he had said that when they hear the music, everyone's supposed to bow down to it. Well, these Abrams did not. Even though they had high positions, they didn't fear losing those positions. They even, as you'll find out, did not fear losing their lives. Wherefore at that time certain Chaldeans came near the king. There are certain Abrams whom you have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. These men, O king, have you not regarded. They serve not your mighty one, nor worship the golden image which you have set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Then they brought these men before the king, and he said unto them, Is it true? You do not serve my mighty ones, nor worship the golden image which I have set up. Now if you be ready at that time, you hear the sound of the instruments, and you fall down and worship the image which I have made well. But if you worship not, you shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Who is that mighty one that will deliver you out of my hands? Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer you in this matter. If it be so, our mighty one, Yahuah, whom we serve, is quite able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of your hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto you, O king, that we will not serve your mighty ones, nor worship the golden image which you have set up. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore he commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind them and cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. But these 3 men fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Look at that. It was so hot that the men who threw them in died. And they actually went into the fire, fell down, and was not harmed. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and said to the counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound in the midst of the fire? And they answered and said unto the king, O king, true. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the son of Yahuah. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and said, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, servants of the Most High, come forth and come here. Servants of the Most High. And they did. They came out of the fire. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors being together, saw these men, upon whose body the fire had no power, nor was a hair of their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Oh, brothers and sisters, that we could see that this is the same mighty one that can help us in this time is come, because there's so much demise planned against those who are commandment keepers. If we could just know our Yahuah, we'll be strong and we'll do exploits. Wow. And remember, Yahuah also did this for Abraham. My. And he says that he will be with us in the fire. He'll be with us in the water. Wow. Then Nebuchadnezzar spoke and said, Baruch be the mighty Yahuah of Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, who sent his messenger and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word. He even acknowledged, like, okay, he said, he even changed my word, and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any mighty one except their own mighty one. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speaks anything amiss against the mighty one of Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill. Therefore, because there is no other mighty one that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah in the province of Babylon. So he even lifted them higher. See, promotions don't come from men per se. Promotions come from when we satisfy Yahuah and our way of life and the things we do and entrusting in him. And he causes man to grant us more provisions and however he wants to do it. Matthew 24, and he sat upon the Mount of Olives, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? What should be the sign of your coming and of the end of the world? Yahushua answered, said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And many false prophets shall rise and deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Then if any man say unto you, Lo, here is Mashiach, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth, because they will deceive many. If they say, Behold, he's in the secret chambers, believe it not. Revelations 13, 1 through 3. So he's telling us here in Matthew 24, this is Yahushua talking. Take heed no man deceive you. We better know. We've got to know what is Yahuah, even if it sounds like it. Remember, the very first fall was how the enemy worded his demise to Eve. He knew he was lying. He knew he was deceiving her. And he used the very words pretty much that Yahuah had said to deceive her. So because everything that we read, I hate saying it like this, but we cannot believe everything that we're reading, even in the scriptures, because it's already been proven. There are some things in there that were not translated correctly, and some things that were added, and some things that were taken away, some things that are hidden, even his name alone. Right? So we have to know the very characteristic of our Yahuah. And if something doesn't seem right, we're not a heretic if we're asking him. Do we slap our children around and don't talk to them or or get upset with them if they ask a question for something that they're not aware of? How do we learn except we ask? There are no stupid questions. If you don't know, you need to ask. When we don't ask, it's pride. Revelations 13. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were that of the feet of a bear, and his mouth is the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads that were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power over the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth of speaking great things and blasphemy, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Yahuah, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in the Shamayim. And it was given unto him to make war with the Kodeshans and to overcome them. And power was given to him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. Sounds like Nebuchadnezzar. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose name was not written in the book of life of the Lamb. We better have our names written in the book of life. We can be asking y'all help me to keep my name written in the Lamb's book of life. Okay, if any man has an ear, let him hear. He that lead into captivity shall go into captivity. He that kills the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the Kodeshim. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon. horns like a lamb and speaking like a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. And he does these great wonders, and he did these great wonders, so that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of man, and deceives them that dwells on earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. He's going to use that to deceive people. Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image of the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. Make an image. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Nebuchadnezzar. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. It is the number of a man, and his number is 666. I hope I can finish this in this time frame. If not, it has to be a part 2. So, did y'all really tell Moshe to do that? Have the people look to that? Something to ask him about. The second thing that had me wondering is, some time ago, someone had shared with me a study on Dawood being brought back to reign. And she sent me the stuff in the email, and I didn't read it at that time, just so many other things to do. And so after she did that, then I heard other people talking about it. And so just recently I thought, let me go back to this email, and and look at this and see what this is about, because I don't know about that. But I couldn't find the email. So then I just, was thinking about it and talking to y'all about it. I'm like, Father, you said you're not going to share your esteem with anyone else. And Dawood was a man just like me. He's a human. He made a lot of mistakes. Though he did praise you, and though he did know who to turn to, he trusted in you. But he had human flaws. And so we're going to get into this. So Yeshayahu 9 says, for unto us a child is born, and to us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Almighty One, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it and establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of Yahuah Tishbol will perform this. So it's him that it's the increase of his government and his peace. And he's going to order and establish it with judgment. Not Dawood, even though it was saying on the throne of Dawood. Jeremiah 33, 14 through 22. Behold, the days come, says Yahuah, that I will perform that good thing which I have promised unto the house of Yisrael and to the house of Yehudah. In those days, at the same time, will I cause the branch of righteousness to grow up unto Dawood, and he, the branch, shall execute judgment and righteousness in the land. In those days shall Yehudah be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell safely. This is the name wherewith she shall be called, Yahuah Tiskanu. For Yahuah says, Dawood shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Yisrael. Neither shall the priests, the Levites, want a man before me to offer burnt offerings, to kindle meat offerings, and to do sacrifice continually. And word of Yahuah came unto Jeremiah, saying, thus says Yahuah, if you can break my covenant of the day and my covenant of the night, and that there should not be day and night in their season, then may also my covenant be broken with Dawood my servant, that he should not have a son reign upon his throne, and with the Levites, the priests, my ministers. Also the host of heaven cannot be numbered, neither the sand of the sea measured. So I will multiply the seed of Dawood my servant, and the Levites that minister unto me. So he says he's going to multitude the seed of Dawood. Okay, we know about all these leaders that are going to be presented, as this and that, and one's going to want us to bow down to, an image. And so we have to be really mindful. What if they bring one and say that this is Dawood returning? Are we going to be based on these scriptures? Do we really know that's what Yah is saying in this? Because I don't see it. I don't see it. And don't just trust me. Please don't just trust me. This is just something to ask, to be in preparation. They have been planning this a very, very, very long time. Exodus 19. When Moses went into Yahuah, Yahuah called to him out of the mountain, saying, you shall go to the house of Yaakov and tell the children of Israel, you have seen what I did to Mizraim, and how I bear you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a Kodesh nation. Revelations 1 verse 5. And from Yahushua HaMashiach, who is the faithful witness and the first begotten of the dead, and the prince of the kings of the earth, unto him that loved us, washed us from our sins in his own blood, and hath made us kings and priests unto Yahuah and his Father. To him be glory or esteem and dominion forever and ever. It is so. Tahallym 89. I have made a covenant with my children. I have sworn unto Dawood my servant. Baruch is the people that know the joyful sound. But go out and know the trumpet sound. They shall walk, Yahuah, in the light of your countenance. In your name shall they rejoice all the day, and in your righteousness shall they be exalted. For you are the esteem and honor of their strength. And in your favor our horn shall be exalted. For Yahuah is our defense, and the Kodesh one of Israel is our king. Then you spoke in a vision of your Kodesh one and said, I have laid held upon one that is mighty. I have exalted one chosen out of the people. I have found Dawood my servant. With my holy oil have I anointed him, with whom my hand shall be established. My arm also shall strengthen him, and the enemy shall not exact upon him, nor the son of wickedness afflict him. And I will beat down his foes before his face, and plague them that hate him. But my faithfulness and my kindness shall be with him, and in my name shall his horn be exalted. I will set his hand also in the sea, and his right hand in the rivers. And he shall cry unto me, you are my Father, my Eloah, and the rock of my salvation. Also I will make him my firstborn, higher than the kings of the earth. My kindness will I keep for him forever. My covenant shall stand fast with him. His seed also will I make to endure forever, and his throne as the days of the Shamayim. His seed shall endure forever, and his throne as the sun before me. Is it established forever as the lesser light, as a faithful witness in the Shamayim. Selah. He's talking about Yahushua here. He's not talking about Dawood. If you read it again, please read it again slowly and talking with Yahuah. For the Ruach HaKodesh will give us truth. 1 Samuel 8, 4 through 16. You remember when the children of Israel said, they went to Samuel, said they wanted a king before them, and this thing displeased Samuel. It says, so give us a king to judge us. And Samuel cried to Yahuah, and Yahuah said unto Samuel, hearken unto the voice of the people and all that they say unto you, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. See, he is supposed to be reigning over us, not no man. According to all the works which they have done since the day that I brought them out of Mizraim, even unto this day. Wherefore they have forsaken me and served other gods or mighty ones, so do they also unto you. Now listen to the voice, howbeit yet protest solemnly unto them, and show them the manner of the king, how he shall reign over them. So Samuel told them what a king's going to do, how that king is not going to be anything like Yahuah. But they still wanted that king. They said, but we will have a king over us, that we also may be like all the nations, that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles. What? Yahuah wasn't doing that? So, and Samuel heard all the words of the people, and he rehearsed them in the ears of Yahuah. And Yahuah said to Samuel, hearken unto their voice, and make them a king. And Samuel said unto all the men of Israel, go ye every man into his city. Now, think about that. Verily I say unto you, he that enters not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbs up any other way, the same as a thief and a robber. But he that enters in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter opens, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. And when he puts forth his own sheep, he goes before them, and the sheep follow him, and they know his voice, and a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him. For they know not the voice of strangers. Then said Yahushua unto them again, verily, verily I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep, and all that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. The thief does not but to come not but for the steal, kill, and to destroy. That's the only time the enemy comes, is to steal, kill, and destroy. But I am come that they might have life, and they might have it more abundantly. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. But he that is a hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and flees, and the wolf catches them and scatters the sheep. This is the heart of the Father. Revelations 2, verse 26. And he that overcomes and keeps my words unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. And he shall rule them with an rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. Who is going to rule them? Not Dawood. Revelations 19:11. I saw the Shamayim open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon it was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. He was clothed in a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahuah. And the armies which were in the heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he shall smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treads the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Lord. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Sovereign of Sovereigns. Psalms 22, Tahallym. All the ends of the world shall remember him and turn to Yahuah, and all the kindreds of the nations shall worship before you. For the kingdom is Yahuah's, and he is the governor among the nations. All they that be fat upon earth shall eat and worship, and all they that go down to dust shall bow before him. And none can keep alive his own soul. A seed shall serve him, and it shall be counted to Yahuah for a generation. They shall come and shall declare his righteousness unto a people that shall be born, that he hath done. He hath done this. Matthew 1 through 17 talks about, he gives a genealogy all the way down to when Yahushua was born, and through each generation was 14. And so now 1 Peter 2 through 19 says, but you are a chosen generation. We're that generation. In Psalms 22 it says, a seed shall serve, and it shall be accounted to Yahuah for a generation. We're that generation. We're a royal priesthood, a Kodesh nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth his praise of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. In Deuteronomy, he told them that they would be this chosen generation, this peculiar people, because Kodesh nation. So he always was planning on having a people that was not born, that shall be born. John 17, neither pray I for these alone, but for them also which shall believe on me through their word. He was talking about the word of the disciples, the taught ones. In closing, Revelations 5 and 12. Saying with a loud voice, worthy is the Lamb that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing. And every creature which is in the Shamayim and on the Arets and under the Arets, such as are in the sea and all that are in them, heard I say, and Barakot and honor and esteem and power be unto him that sits upon the throne and unto the Lamb forever and ever. I just do not believe that he's going to bring Dawood back, a human being, to rule when he overcame and became the one that will rule forever. I will put these scriptures in the description, under the description, if you want to look at them again, or as you're listening to this. I hope you're listening to this intently, because this could be the difference between being deceived and being wise. Like the children of Levi, the tribe of Levi, they did not get fooled by Pharaoh. The other 11 tribes did and became slaves, but not the Levites, because they knew something about what was being offered to them by Pharaoh. I don't want to use the word scary, because that's not the right word. But when I just think about it, and everything that I ever known, because I've known for many years, many decades, that we were going to be here, didn't believe in the rapture, but knew that we were going to go through the tribulation. Things are not going the way I thought they were going to be. I never knew the extent of evil that man could do, and through the what do you call it, influence of the evil one. We got to know our And that's why Daniel says, they who know their Yahuah shall be strong and shall do great exploits. And that's why Yahushua said, if it were possible, the very elect would be deceived. Did he tempt them? Why would he? Why would he tell Moses to make a graven image and have the people look at it to get healing? Well, that's not even what they prayed for. They wanted the healing, I'm sure, but they wanted the serpents to be gone. Why? When Moses, he was so upset, and Moses was upset when they came. Yah sent him down from the mountain because the people had a graven image. I just don't see it. To me, it's confusion. But I always say, help me, because I don't want to be lost anymore, and I don't want to be leading anybody astray. But we got to be certain of one thing. When we read something, we cannot accept it as being totally truth. When we hear something and we read something in the pages of the scriptures, we cannot just say, oh, okay, yeah, we got to look at it. It's just like people believing that Sabbath is from evening to evening. That's not what the scriptures say. That is not what it says, and that'll be a whole nother audio. That is not what the scriptures say. And when you think about it, even in the morning was the first day, the second day, third day, fourth day, all the way down. Well, what happened from morning to evening? He doesn't mention that at all. There's something to that. And it has caused a lot of issues, a lot of division, and it still is. But we've got to know Yahuah and be able to sit back and just do some critical thinking and say, wait, Father, help me understand. Give me insight. Give me insight with this, because I'm not getting it. I don't open up your treasure of knowledge and let me see, so that I don't be deceived, so I don't go astray. It's been proven. It's been proven. I know it's written in Peter that he says the scriptures are not of any private interpretation. And now I wonder if that's not even something that they slid in there. Because now all scriptures have been inspired. Because, some of this stuff is man's thoughts. Like David, some of the stuff that in the Psalms, David's talking about some of the things he's going through. It's almost like a journal. And he's sharing what he's going through. Job, some of the things he was going through. Even Paul, some of the things he was going through. So all I'm saying is that we have to know the trumpet call. We have to know the voice of the Most High. He said in John 10, Yochanan 10, that his sheep know his voice. And brothers and sisters, I'm not trying to cause no problems. I'm just trying to awaken us to know that we cannot be led astray. The scribes and Pharisees was doing what they were doing in that time frame, and they're still here. Serpent seed is still here. He said, brood of vipers. We better be able to think on our own. We better have our ears tuned to the Most High. Don't be relying on people that we trust in people. We can't be trusting people with our souls, with our eternity. We better know for ourselves and cut the ties, relying on them. We better know the trustworthiness of the Most High and put the pieces together as He leads us. I just want us to realize that if anything goes against what He has first told us, we have to know that the enemy has presented himself as an angel of light. We have to know that, I wonder, has he come to me like he came to Eve? Why would Father get upset? And one of the first things he says in the 10 words is, thou shalt have no other. Thou shalt not make into thee any graven image. And he didn't say just that one time. Yahuah mentions it. It's mentioned in different places in the scriptures. And yet he would tell the people, when he was still trying to get Mizraim out of their system, and he's gonna tell them to look to another. Look at Daniel. And Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, they would not bow down. All right, so we listen. This is very crucial, very crucial. And like I said, I don't want to use the word scary, but I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail. You know, when it comes to not knowing Him and following, going here because they say He's here, going there because they say He's there. We have to know and don't move and be like the children of Levi. The Levites did not fall for it. They did not fall for it. And we are of the priestly tribe. We're kings and priests. Until next time, brothers and sisters, I know this was a lot. And it's taken some time me bringing this to you. I've had it ready to go. Oh my. But, you know, it's written here in the scriptures. I think it was, let's see if I can find it. I think it was Psalms 22 that he says the kingdom is Yahuah's. I don't see it right now. But anyways, the kingdom is Yahuah's. And that's who's going to reign. In Revelation, it tells us that's who's going to reign. Yeah, so. All right, till next time, be encouraged. I really hope that you will take this before Yah and just see. Because remember, man translated this. And when the time it was translated, yeah, there are a lot of things going on. And it's just like that scripture where it says we're supposed to obey the laws of the land. Well, that depends. If the laws of the land go against what Yahuah has written and expects of us, we're not to look at our brothers and sisters who gave their lives rather than go against. And the 3 Hebrew brothers we just read about, they were willing to do the same thing. They said, we're not careful to answer you. We're not bound. That was the law of the land, to bow down. When you hear the music, bow down and worship this image. And they didn't. So that's a scripture. So we have to know, where is the divide? Where is the divide? Who are we serving? My help us, Father. Help us, Father. My desire is that we all make it. That we do Yahuah honor and standing with Him. Standing with Him. There's great victory. There's great victory that's already been planned. Would Father lead us to do something that's against His word? And would He have us look to a man when there's so many verses that say don't trust in chariots or in princes? And just because He said that there'll always be someone on the throne did not mean it was going to be descendants of Dawood. Yahushua Himself supposedly came through that lineage. And He's the one that's going to be forever reigning. You know, the more I live, the more I'm trying to live right, the more I detest flesh, especially mine. And I think about all the times that generations and generations of people who have failed the Most High, including me. It's disgusting. And I hate thinking about me and my descendants and my ancestors rejecting the Most High, the compassionate one, the loving one, to satisfy flesh or to be able to fit in with this world. And I want so much to be able to stand and to give him honor. I want to deny this flesh and crucify it so that I'm able to stand with him. He told Kepha, your spirit is willing, but your flesh is weak. I don't want it to be so in our lives, brothers and sisters, that they present us something like Yahushua said they would. He said in Matthew 24, Luke 21, and Mark 13, that they would be presenting us things. And if it were possible, the very elect would be deceived. Read Jasher, chapters 64 and 65, and it'll show you how powerful, how anointed the Abrams were. And they did not have to go into slavery, but they were deceived, except for that one group. And may we be among them. It's going to be so fine-tuned. The deception is going to be so fine-tuned and almost perfected. But that choice, people, the elect, the chosen. And they're chosen, they're elect because they know their Elohim. They know their Yahuah. They know his characteristics, and they know that doesn't sound like him. So whether I'm right or wrong, I just want to give you something to think about. Because we don't know. We don't know what all is planned. We know there's going to be signs and wonders that are going to amaze the majority of people. And they're going to follow the beast. To the point that they're going to be chanting, who is like unto the beast? Who can war against the beast? Why? Yahushua said that it was going to be like this because in Matthew 24, the love of many has waxed cold. They no longer love Yahuah. They no longer love his law. They no longer love his right rulings, and they don't want to live by his guiding principles. Flesh, flesh, flesh. That's where we're at today. Why do you think that is so? And this might step on people's toes, but women with nails that don't even look like nails, they don't look like claws. That's a spirit. Eyelashes looking like they about to fly away. That's a spirit. Sex, sex, sex. That's a spirit. Thievery, that's a spirit. Lust, that's a spirit. And corruption's in the world today because of lust. Everything that is corruptible and is sin is based, it begins with lust. Ambition. We talked about ambition not too long ago, and I have a little bit more to talk on that. And I've been guilty. They say this is the trend, people, everybody's, I like that. Why do we like it? Because the spirit has caused us to see it that way. I'm going to stop because now I know I'm meddling. I just want us to realize that I'm not looking for a man to reign, to come back and reign. It's Yahuah. We have it in the scriptures. Revelation tells us all about it. And like I said, Psalms 22, for some reason, I'm not able to find it right now. But he says that it's his kingdom. That in the end, it's going to be his kingdom. I really want to find that. The time is really getting away from me. Well, all right then. I will put it in the description, all the scriptures in the description. And you can read it later on your own. You ever have something that's right there in your face and you just don't see it? There it is. Psalms 22. And all the ends of the world shall remember and turn to Yahuah, and all the kindreds of the nations shall worship before you. For the kingdom is Yahuah's, and he is the governor among the nations. All they that be fat upon earth shall eat and worship, and all they that go down to the dust shall bow before him, and none can keep alive his own soul. A seed shall serve him, and it shall be accounted to Yahuah for a generation. They shall come and shall declare his righteousness unto a people that shall be born, and he hath done this. That chosen generation, a people that shall be born, that's those remnant people. But the kingdom is Yahuah's. That's Psalms 22, verse 28. And he is the governor among the nations. He's not going to call back a man. Honor him above Yahushua? He's not going to be honored above Yahushua. How? I got to go. Till next time, brothers and sisters, stay steadfast. Keep seeking Yah for his truth and his wisdom and his ways. For Baruch are all those that revere him and walk in his ways. Let's revere him. Let's not be deceived. Let's question if something doesn't seem right. And when the question, I'm not saying question him like, why would you do that? I'm not talking about, I'm saying, Father, okay, I don't, can you give me insight on this? Can you reveal this to me and let me know, confirm that yes, this is you, or no, can you take me deeper into this? Because I don't want to be deceived. But this doesn't sound like you. And it could be me, I could be wrong, because you're always right. And I need you to lead me into truth. So I know truth. That's what I'm saying. We're not questioning him like, like some bratty child would do their parent. I'm saying that. I'm saying you're asking him for insight, closer relationship with him, keener eyesight. That's why he said if you have ear to hear and eyes to see. That's why he did things in parables. And that's why, since we know that there's been some tampering with the word, we need to not accept everything. I love you in Yahuah. And we got to get some keen eyes, sharp minds, sensitive ruah. Remember, he told us, try it. Try every ruah to see if it be of Yah or not. Talk to you soon. I love you in Yahuah. Stay strong. Stay strong in him. He is our strength. And he has commanded our strength to be strong. Oh my. We win in Yahuah, brothers and sisters. We win in Yahuah. Amen and amen. Praise Yah.